Ubisoft has found themselves in a position where the only thing that can save them is Assassin's Creed. That's the bottom line. And if Ubisoft does fumble Assassin's Creed, then they don't deserve to exist. But I truly, desperately want Assassin's Creed Shadows to be saved, to be the Assassin's Creed game that it could and should and is obliged to be. Because if Assassin's Creed Shadows is anything less than great, it'll kill Assassin's Creed too. And I don't want to lose Assassin's Creed. Since Assassin's Creed 3, I've always been drawn to the Brotherhood of Assassins. In the end, Assassin's Creed was about playing as a kick-ass master assassin doing kick-ass master assassin things. The narrative would switch from game to game and saga to saga, but that's what I always looked forward to the most when I played an Assassin's Creed game, playing as a kick-ass assassin. The tragedy of Assassin's Creed is how starkly that has been diluted over the past several years. I don't know what caused Ubisoft to decide that its main IP should be less like itself, but over the course of 3 years, we went from ancient Egyptian Magi who plants the first seeds of the Brotherhood of Assassins, to assassin Spartan warriors, to assassin Vikings. I'll admit, I finished Origins, stopped midway through Odyssey, and never touched Valhalla, so maybe the Viking assassins are more brotherhoody than I know. Let me know, but I'm doubtful. And now we're about to go from Assassin's Creed Vikings to Assassin's Creed Japan. Assassin's Creed Japan. Let that sink in for a moment. This would have been a legendary announcement 10 years ago. It should have been a slam dunk of an announcement now. An Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan was a mythical whim in the gaming world. Such a matter-of-course couple. It felt like it was a naturally occurring thought. Why the hell hasn't Ubisoft set their historically set series about code-abiding, honorable assassins in feudal Japan yet? This is why. Assassin's Creed Japan was always Assassin's Creed's Jump the Shark announcement. It was always Ubisoft's cash in the tax-free savings account. The very idea of an Assassin's Creed in Japan is inherently valuable. It was supposed to be a guaranteed moneymaker, so how the hell is it not? What in the name of all that is good and holy has Ubisoft done that an Assassin's Creed Japan is not somehow a free win?
Think of a big black man chasing you!
Okay, so Yasuke is a little controversial. Now you might think the reason why he's controversial as a protagonist for a game set in feudal Japan is obvious, but I actually don't think many have been able to articulate just why he's so controversial, for this game specifically. After all, Yasuke-inspired characters have appeared in many other Japanese media, so why is he controversial now? Well, you see, this isn't Japanese media. This is a Ubisoft Quebec production. Not only is Ubisoft Quebec not Japanese, but Ubisoft has had a tendency in recent years to favor what some would call diverse ideation. And therein lies the problem. The average person sees that Assassin's Creed Japan has been announced, something they've been asking for years, and they lose their internal shit. Has Ubisoft finally come to their senses about Assassin's Creed, they think? Are they paying attention to what the fans want at last? And then they see the trailer, and they notice that they've chosen to make the one black guy in all of old Japan a protagonist. They also notice that this is the one and only time a historical person has been made a playable character. It's very reasonable then to come to the conclusion that Ubisoft ham-fisted a black man into this protagonist role in feudal Japan, and that is when the killing thought occurs to them. If they went to such lengths to ham-fist something like this into the game from the get-go, where are their priorities really? Is it in making the best Assassin's Creed game they can, or something else? And when that happens, it's almost too late. You've already instilled the rational paranoia that instead of buying a game worth getting excited over, you will be buying a game that wants to pander to you and act self-righteously about how morally upright it is for representing those victims, black people, more. So out of touch, so patronizing. Okay, listen, something in me doubts that this was a decision that the people actually responsible for the hands-on work with the game were responsible for. But now it's an issue that has to be dealt with very intrinsically, if not completely overlooked by everyone who is interested in buying the game. And that's just Yasuke. There's also how this game was marketed.
This is a certified first class.
A As much as watching the only black man in feudal Japan spunk on the locals to some modern black-coded trap beats is inspiring, I don't think this kind of marketing was gonna save Assassin's Creed Shadows from a doomed launch. So how would one save Assassin's Creed Shadows? One issue at a time, that's how. First, the marketing. It is unavoidable. You must downplay Yasuke, and you must upplay Naui. Oh yeah, this game has another protagonist that you can draw attention to, a Japanese one, and an assassin too. Nobody was criticizing Naui because she's not a controversial protag. 80% of the advertising from here on out should be for the actual Kunoichi. Now we must unfold the game itself. And let's bring it back to Yasuke for a minute. He, as a character, has a large field of storytelling options that could go putridly wrong. And I'm afraid they will. I'm prepared for a worst case scenario, but you know what? I actually believe that Yasuke could actually work as a character in this game. Ubisoft's biggest mistake with Yasuke was making him a friggin' protag. He could have been a swell side character. But well, he is a protagonist. Way too late to change it, so how do we make Yasuke work? The only way to possibly do that is in the story. Seeing Yasuke in full Shogun samurai armor is a walking mind block. It's like you have to suspend your disbelief every time you see him like that. So, Yasuke needs to earn the fuck out of that samurai armor. Out of the samurai title, period. Him being a visually obvious outsider cannot go unaddressed. It should actually be the main conflict of his character. He should need to work twice as hard as everyone else for the same level of respect, and it should be satisfying as hell when he finally gets there and becomes accepted. And he should see standing up for these people as an honor and a privilege. Make him a noble underdog. Naui, on the other, more fortunate hand, doesn't have to deal with such narrative hurdles from the get-go. So instead, let's focus on a great opportunity she presents. Something she could embody in her gameplay. Yes, Naui should absolutely embody the OG Assassin's Creed Master Assassin playstyle. The dream gameplay of the old Assassin's Creed games was achieving multiple kills unseen, an aspect that arguably became stronger as the series went on up until Origins introduced things like leveled enemies. Remember those Hitman-like scenarios from Unity and Syndicate? What if the whole playstyle those snappy, stealthy sandboxes encouraged was completely encapsulated in a character? Naui could be that character, a complete love letter to the old school Master Assassin fantasy that used to be the standard for Assassin's Creed. Leave most of the head-on new style gameplay to Yasuke. Alright, time for some smaller points but no less important. First off, stop trying to be The Witcher 3. I don't know what the hell's gotten into some of these wannabe AAA game studios this past decade, but some of them seem obsessed with replicating The Witcher 3's success. It absolutely ruined Shadow of the Tomb Raider, for example, and it's a big player in the dilution of Assassin's Creed. Speaking of Ubisoft, nobody cares about the variety of romance options in Assassin's Creed. Where did we lose our way?
Where did we lose our way?
Get your damn priorities straight. Past protags had it just fine with their singular, story-driven romantic interests. Ezio, Arno, Bayek. This is Assassin's Creed for crying out loud, not a Veilguard-ass dating sim. Alright, I think that's it. So, to reiterate, downplay Yasuke in the marketing. Upplay Naui. Make Yasuke's story in the game a realistic one that addresses his outsider status in an interesting way. Enrich the stealth gameplay. It's what makes Assassin's Creed, especially with your actual Kunoichi. And please stop leaning on The Witcher 3 for guidance. Lean on something like Mark of the Ninja instead. In fact, didn't you produce a trilogy of games based on it once upon a time? Listen, the bottom line of all of this is, people want to play Assassin's Creed when they buy Assassin's Creed. They don't want to play a generic, historical, action-adventure role-playing game. Unlike with Dragon Age and Baldur's Gate, there is no other Assassin's Creed. It's this or nothing. If Assassin's Creed can't sell itself on being Assassin's Creed, then it's already too late. And if Assassin's Creed Shadows fails to exceed expectations, if it fails to be the Assassin's Creed game that it could and should and is obliged to be, Assassin's Creed is gonna die, and for allowing such a critical failure, Ubisoft will pay the same price. Well, what's left to say? If Shadows does pull off the miracle of the year and manages to be a genuine success as an Assassin's Creed game, I will be here to document it. I want this game to do the impossible, but, well, if it dies and takes its company with it, I'll be by the campfire watching Ubisoft join BioWare in the boulevard of broken game companies. Thanks for watching. But before I end this video, I'd like to just read out something I found while I was doing some research. From 6 years ago, posted to the Assassin's Creed subreddit. Here's my stance on an Assassin's Creed in Japan. I am Japanese, and I am also an avid lover of the Assassin's Creed games. From the day I started playing video games, my first being Assassin's Creed 1, I have always wanted a game set in feudal Japan. And Assassin's Creed being Assassin's Creed, I felt that it would be the best game to pick it up. And instead of just giving us a game about samurai and ninjas, I feel like it has the potential to be something magnificent. A lot of games show off ninjas and samurai, Tenchu, Total War Shogun, For Honor, etc. The list goes on. However, from playing most of these games, a lot of them do not delve into the world as much as it singles out that ninja and samurai experience. That's where Assassin's Creed comes in. With an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan, whatever point in time they choose, I feel like we can get more of a look into the world that ancient Japan was. It would give people who aren't historians a view into what life was like then, which is what the Assassin's Creed franchise is known for. Instead of a story that is a similar formula to the others, Assassins vs Templar, Cult of Cosmos, it could potentially be similar to the story of the 47 Ronin. For example, the story could follow a Templar or cultist being cast out of the order for being dishonorable in Japanese court. We could follow this character go from riches to rags to hoods through this story that guides us through feudal Japan's notorious code of Bushido, a realization this Templar has while hiding from the order about the people and begins to believe that the order is wrong, and the journey of redeeming his soul and reputation in the eyes of the people through the Brotherhood of Assassins, which, in a story like this, would represent the embodiment of the people more so than other games have to me. Kind of a reversed parallel to Shay McCormick's story becoming a Templar. It would be a game that has less to do with the samurai and ninja and more of a driven story about the player's journey. Of course, you'd still have samurai styles and things such as armor and weapons, but that wouldn't be the main focus. Instead of being the "I've seen this" scenario that Ubisoft considers as to why they don't make a Japanese setting, which is totally understandable. Ultimately, it'd be a story of redemption while showing players feudal Japan's lifestyle and traditions instead of a basic story of ninjas and samurai. That is my stance and case for a Japanese setting for Assassin's Creed. And I'm open to any and all discussion, as I wish to understand everybody's points of view, agreeing with me or not. And I can also clarify anything, as I understand that things I type may not have been as coherent as it was in my head. Thank you, an Assassin's Creed fan.